Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be channeling Adronis, and Adronis is going to be giving some insight on understanding soul groups. We have been asked to share insight as it represents your understanding of soul groups. Now basically, when you come into a life, and as you start to grow, as you start to mature, everything as it pertains to soul groups all contain themes of explorations that represent a deep inner circle matter as it pertains to the entity. What this means is that, for example, the type of parents that you choose, that you select through this lifetime represent a specific soul grouping as it represents, for the example of the child and the parents. This is what's known as one catalyst. The catalyst in that sense is what could be referred to as a sub-law existing within the law of attraction and repulsion. And so when you are working together with different degrees of soul groups, these soul groups can be many. So, for example, one aspect of the parent and child relationship is a soul group. The type of friends that you have worked with, that you are aligning with, based upon certain forms of catalyst relationships that are contained within that particular form of friendship group or soul group of friendships. The professional circle in that way that may represent the idea of co-workers, the idea of a boss, the type of place that you are working at, the customers in that way represent another soul group. So giving the idea of these three particular examples is really what a soul group is the idea of how you are working together with other entities that are bonding together with you through the co-creation as it represents a catalytic event. So again, parents, friendship, professional business. These again just represent these particular soul groups. Soul groups are basically here for as long as the catalyst, as it pertains to the event, is, shall we say, contained. So basically, if you feel that you are working a particular type of profession for a certain amount of years, and that you are, again, have been working together with a certain amount of co-workers through that particular degree of profession, and that you have a boss and customers through that particular type of profession, when you finally snap out of the loop and realize, no, this profession is not for me anymore. I feel like I'm growing past it. I'm advancing it. What you basically do then is you break the catalytic loop. And now you basically venture off energetically into another contingency of soul group that represents the energies that are best appropriate through the catalyst that you are aligning to magnetically. So soul groups are not permanent. They are again just the aspects of relationships that are being forged through the catalyst of your nature of what is attraction and what is repulsion. So the whole idea in that sense of a professional, let's say who may be an office type, has no particular desire to move into an industry that may be, shall we say, construction-based, being outside and lifting heavy things. That is a repulsion in that way. That is just something that is not, shall we say, in their own line of sight to perform. But that particular form of soul group is the opportunistic degree of what they decide to move into through the idea of synchronicity, through the alignments of them looking into themselves and saying, yes, I would like to work outside. I would like to be more into the physical work. And I want to get involved with that instead of my office work. So basically, again, you leave the loop. And all of those other particular forms of entities that, again, contain that loop of experience will again continue to explore that. You simply just will not witness it. So we can also liken this to a bubble and clusters of bubbles, so that your bubble latches on to this cluster, and that this cluster again represents co-workers, bosses, etc. And that when you finally detach from that bubble, it's because you no longer exist within the energetic of that cluster, and you therefore move somewhere else. So soul groups are relative. They only seem permanent because the catalyst that reflects the energy of why you are remaining within that cluster or that loop remains, because there is validity that you therefore give it based upon that soul group in question. So this represents the aspects of soul groups. You may have been working with these types of soul groups for many lifetimes because the catalyst that requires their vibrational signature to work together with you in co-creation still remains. And so they follow you lifetime after lifetime, the same entities existing in different bodies, different versions of themselves. But when you finally discover that this is no longer what you wish, you have realized that your calling is moving you into another direction, you now therefore vacate the soul group, and you move into another particular soul group that is commemorative of the vibration that you have now decided to follow. Now, this is the whole degree in regards to how soul groups work. They just represent different collectives. They are different legion capacities of catalyst that are helping you to organize yourself in co-creation to move where you feel you would like to be, to basically aligning yourself more to your natural self, your authenticity. So, when you move more into that alignment, you'll discover that you will enjoy being with many of these soul groups because they are much more on par with what your alignments are bringing you authentically at that particular time. You may also venture past those particular soul groups and move into higher advanced forms of authenticity in that way that will again partner other soul groups together. When we're looking at the aspect of oversouls, as we have stated, represent the idea of this mainframe, this degree of this honeycomb, all of these cells contained within the honeycomb being able to experience many different realities at the same time. While you may discover that through oversoul relationships, you can connect with people who you feel very deeply entrenched with energetically. Feeling that particular type of romantic partnership, for example. Feeling strong connections with your parents, with friends, etc. These again represent aspects of your oversoul that are again where you're feeling another part of you is here. And they are very, very vivid. They are very, very energetic, and I can see deeply into their soul. That gives you the idea of a type of oversoul connection. There is familiarity there with a very similar, but not identical, signature. So altogether, through soul groups, is the venturing aspect of catalyst that is helping you to align yourself into areas of your life that you feel you would like to explore more. That you feel in that sense that perhaps you may need to attach your bubble to a cluster to giving you a particular life lesson. Is this particularly the type of soul group that I would like to align to? Or do I feel that this is not for me? And at any particular moment, you can detach from that cluster. You can leave that loop and explore other soul groups that are much more preferable to your energy.